Yeah, it's live.
So hello.
Hi, Priyanka.
Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to our live session today. I hope you all are doing really well, good and healthy. Right? So yeah, this is Salma this side, and I carry an experience of 5 years in overseas education consultant. I can see a lot of you coming here. So nice to see you all. So let us welcome Mr. Prateek Uniyal, who's actually done global business management from an Humber College and also a financial planner from Bank of Montreal. So welcome, Prateek, and thank you so much, taking time from your hectic schedule and joining us.
Thank you, Simon. Like it's really a pleasure being here, and I really appreciate whatever you guys are doing.
Thank you so much, and great to have you here and the students with us. It'll be a great session. So it'll be really, like a thing to just have a small introduction from your side, Prateek.
Sure. So, hi to first and foremost to all of the people who are tuning in. So, my name is Prateek Uniyal. I come from Dehradun, India, and the most possible reason for me from being there it's because it's just a fun city, like Dehradun has been one kind, like where no one can mix and match towards that. So I'll keep that, let it be itself. My qualification comes from the SRCC. Like I've done my bachelor's in economics when I completed my bachelor's and master's at the same time and decided to pursue my career into a fraud and finance field at the same time when I was working with American Express. And from there itself, I got a guest to move towards the North American market because the pattern was so amazing. I decided to immigrate to Canada in 2018, completed my global business management, had no specialization, so it was a really generic course for me that I did. And yeah, within the third semester, I decided where I wanted to be. And I landed up with finance, really good with numbers, and like having a great fun part on the finance itself. And there's always a fun side to say in finance. Either you lose your number or either you lose your hair. So I think the second thing happened with me a lot. And I think I lost my hair. So because like a lot of people, it's like we kind of feel that, it's a fun job. It's a super job. It is an amazing job. This country is great. The finance sector is so damn good coming up. So everything fell in that piece itself. And I think I'm lucky enough, to be a part of a Canadian culture, following up the pattern, being a financial planner, and all of that happened. So this is my short journey in a nutshell in 3 years.
So nice, and yes, so that is like one of the things, right? So let us start up with the session today, Prateek. So let us start sharing a screen and go ahead.
Definitely.
Just a minute. I hope you're able to see the screen.
Yes, I am.
Yes. So guys, so welcome. So like, as you know that our YouTube live session. So please subscribe to the channel to get the very recent videos on different topics. Okay, so this will be really helpful for you to keep updated yourself. And as you know, we have a LeapScholar Telegram channel also. So please log in into it and, follow this as well, so that you get very live updates about scholarships as well as best universities and programs with the educational loans. So let us start about frequently start. Okay. So Prateek, so I just want to know, like, how did you start your journey, like from India to Canada? Like, how was it? How exciting was it? What were the obstacles that you had to face? And what is the success that you are here in Canada today and all this stuff?
I think that's a really amazing question because the way it started up was so unexpected. And I still remember it was a 2017 year, like, it was just a regular day at a job itself, because I really had this amazing job even back home when I was doing it in Gurgaon. Like, I was working at, maybe everyone has heard about the DLF Cyber Hub. Like, I was there itself. And, this really, the pattern came forward from there. So as I've said, like, being working for a North American culture and looking at the patterns that followed for them, because at the end of the day I really wanted to be outside. That was the main thing, that was the main goal, to go outside, like, live your life, do some, like, mistakes, and if it does turns out good, like, stay there. If it doesn't, like, rush back to the country, like, that was the
Country.
main zone. So I think
Exactly.
my pattern of journey followed up from what I really need from that country itself. So
Exactly.
before Canada, everyone has a dream to immigrate to USA when North American structure kicks in. And I really knew that I didn't want it to be at US itself. I can't afford a university. So that was the main reason.
Yes.
And I started dwelling up into the structural pattern followed up for the education and the work-life balance. And that's how I got excited for Canada, because
Canada.
even when we are back home, everyone talks about, the living standards, the way the country progresses, your pay rate, and most importantly, the permanent residency. And I think
Exactly.
all those check marks were done from Canada itself. That was the main reason to be there. And I still
Yes.
remember I was doing my research because I really didn't knew what I want to do, right? And
Yes.
I found this really new, amazing course of global business management with no one was talking about it. It was a 2 year straight course giving me a 3 years of work permit. So that kind
Yes.
of felt exciting because I could see the pattern falling up, like, all the subjects and everything is coming forward. Why
Coming.
not?
Yes. Yes.
And I think 2017, like starting years, like maybe January, February, like, those months
Uh-huh.
itself, I decided to give my IELTS. I was
Yes.
still working at this full-time job. And
Yes.
my IELTS came, I applied for the Humber College. That was the only college that I could see.
Yes.
So if someone asked me, like, did you plan for it? And I would say no. Like, it
No.
was just a straight shot. Like, it was just like an arrow that had to go to Humber, and I got
Yes.
accepted, like, and that was so different. From there on, the things started changing up. I took up the seriousness towards, like, immigrating to this country. And I think this
Exactly.
is one of the best decisions that I have taken in 3 years, and it's
Actually.
paying off
Yes.
really well. So all the students back there who are confused about things, I think, like, you should really listen to your gut feeling and just
Hmm.
go forward. If anything will happen, like, but there are, like, to support up the big picture. So that was the really important thing for me too.
Yes, yes, yes. And as you were adding that you didn't plan to, like you didn't know which program you want to apply for. And
Exactly.
we have so many students like that, Prateek. Like we have so many students who don't know like what specialization they want to go ahead with.
Hmm.
And what we always, suggest them is like just go ahead with whatever you are able to do. Right? What is
Exactly.
your passion? Just follow that, right?
And I think the
And once
biggest
your
picture
passion is
And I think the biggest picture
yes,
follows down there, because over here you are going to follow the passion that leads your excitements forward, right? And I think that was the
exactly.
bigger picture itself. Like, a lot of students are really good with marketing part, go down there, because I think still in the peer pressure, they try to choose up a different options and end up really bad on it. And then they, like, blame on that part. Like, oh, should have chosen that. So I think
Yes.
one suggestion should come out from the LeapScholar team, from me, or from them itself, is like, follow what you love the most, and it will turn out to be really, really good.
Yes, and it wakes paths for you. It opens the ways for you. You have
So
to just
true.
know like where it is, and the ways automatically get open for you.
Completely understood.
So yes, so let us go out with our next question, Prateek. So how was your experience, working in Bank of Montreal as compared, like as I know, like you have worked with State Bank of India, you've worked with Ages and all that things. So what is the difference that you see in the work culture there, and how did you grow there, working? So that means a lot, right?
I
Growth
com-
is one of the aspects.
I completely understand, and I believe this is one big question that will answer a lot of like,
The
questions for the
queries.
upcoming students. So
Yes.
as I've said, like, the place never decides, like, how your working standards are. It's basically your attainment and your attachment to the place. So comparingly to the Indian standards, to the the North American standards, things are
Hmm.
very different. Like,
Yes.
because back home we have just this culture of like working straight like 5 6 days for 12 13 hours minimum. Like,
9 to 5. Yes.
we follow no pattern down there. I think like a lot of the corporates are changing now, but when I
Hmm.
was there in 2016 17, like, it was a big picture for me coming to
Okay.
Canada and following a pattern, like, for the North American culture environment, like completely, I should say I was bemused. Like, first and foremost, there was just like a pattern of, like following a 8 hour shift straight from the position that I come with. We're working like 14, 15 hours in a day to like,
Yes.
8. That completely changed my picture. And people were so respectful towards you. The Canadians, the Indians, like, this is a mix up and a blend economy. So it was so beautiful to gel up with people itself. And you have that fire that you want to go
Yes.
at a job and you want to do really amazing. So a lot of people who don't know that part, I also started at a very low level. I also started as a bank teller. And
Yes.
I started up
Oh.
that when I was in school itself. And like with the right connections, with the right approach, what to say, what
Hmm.
to hear, that matters the most. So
Yes.
whatever you intake, you give
Exactly.
out. That's the
Hmm.
biggest picture. So
Yes.
this experience really changed me up. I think the best part that I got hired with them, like, they picked me up, even though, I was just an international student and I was coming along. I
Hmm.
think this
Yes.
just blossomed up to the part itself that they really like the work culture. They really like the excitement that you have towards the job. I possess
Yes.
those skills, and I still say I'm a really good learner. Like, I'm still learning to the job itself. I never
Yes.
decided to be a financial planner, like, especially for a Bank of Montreal. And like, I was happy being at a lower staircase and then jumping off to a bigger one. But
Yes.
like, this culture or this like city or this job environment, it's super amazing. So a lot of people are going to feel more relaxed when they start their work culture down here with the respectfulness,
Exactly.
the journey that you
Yeah.
have for yourself, and it will show up. So that's all the experiences that I had, and I'm still loving and I'm still evolving to it.
Yeah. So that is so tremendous, you go from a level and you reach such a big level, and you have that, you just tap at yourself telling that I've did it. That is what it is.
That's really at the
Okay.
big picture, and I think all of the students will learn that, like, it's more about loving yourself to the position that you really want to be itself, and that will make a lot
Exactly.
of difference. Like, everyone will be confused. I was super confused. I had no one to guide to, but still I
Yes.
feel lucky enough, like, I opened up to the structures, I opened up to the
Yes.
new, the new beginnings itself, and it it comes out back, like, it really helps you out on that way. So
Yeah, and one thing that I also suggest, right, Pratik, like you shouldn't see like which level of job you're getting in the initial stages. Though you come with lot of work experience and all that things, you have to just grab the opportunity. Who knows
I
what
completely
big
believe
things it brings to you, right? So
exactly
as
true
you
that.
told about yourself, like you were into this level, and now just see how the things change.
I completely
So
understand.
that
But
is
I think
how
this should be a
students.
I think this should be a motivation factor for a lot of people itself, because like the things that come out relate to you, like you should welcome them with the open arms rather than being scared out of it. And that's what the main picture down here, like once you accept the things, it will take up to you the bigger parts or the like higher parts itself, and that what matters.
Exactly, exactly. So students here today online, please, just grab the opportunities what comes in your way. It's nothing small or big. Every opportunity has its own ways, and it'll somewhere, get the goal which you want. Actually, you reach there, right, Prateek?
So true.
So yes. So our next question is, Prateek, like what are the different career options? Uh, Obviously, like related to finance in Canada, because you're in India, we have so much different things. You are in a managerial post, you are into something into cash flow assistant, and you are into international finance. So what are the opportunities there? Like what would be the career of a student once he's completed his post graduation or MS in Canada in
Mhm.
finance? So yes,
I
Prateek.
would say finance still at this point of time is the number one, I could say, the sector that's
Yes.
still there, like I can now literally provide the part itself that it's a pandemic proof, like, a career option to go with, because
Yes.
nothing happened to the finance sector. I think the number games or the finance thing really is a big thing that comes forward. And especially, like in North America, everything is classified so beautifully. That's what I loved about it. Because
Hmm.
with the finance structures, there are relatively corporate finance, like, there are some B2B finance, B2C finance. Back home, when we are into a finance sector, everything evolves under one big ball, right? And over here,
Yes.
like, you can start your journey like in a way that you really want. So, first and foremost, when I came to the finance sector, I should say I thought the fraud field and the finance field are the same thing, what it happens back home. But over here,
Yes.
it's completely different, right?
Yes.
Over
Yes.
second thing, there are a lot of licenses related to this industry because this is a regulated industry, like follows up the North American and the outside international structure followed up, because Canada is huge. Canada is evolving too.
Huge.
So,
Yes.
when we compare Canada to the US or when we compare Canada to London itself, like, the bigger picture comes over
UK.
there. So there are still a lot of career options. I should say, like, the person needs to decide where he want to be, and the main careers come from there itself. So, the licenses related to each and every field into the finance is very important here in Canada, because through that only you make your way up or way down. That's the important part. Second, there are
Exactly.
tremendously like a startup, like, that relates to the finance sector, or like a mid-level and a high level, the big fives everyone has heard about, the major banks or the major financial sector, the major finance hub, like everyone wants to be there. But you have to make your way up towards that with the following licenses, some networking, like having to know what you're dealing with in finance, like what sector, what area you want to go with, because a lot of people love the corporate side, a lot of people love the commercial side, like, so it depends on, do you want to be like the customer focused or do you want to be like organization focused? So I still would say this is such a big topic to go with. Like, I can go on
Yes.
this, but that's the bigger thing that
Exactly.
comes forward to a lot of people. Like, decide where you have to be, because that will make things easy for you. It will make the breakdown available, and then things will come down to the track path and they will move forward with that.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yes, Prateek was telling that you have different things. So you have to first of all, like make yourself know like which field you are interested in, as we were already speaking in the session, right, Prateek?
Yes.
So the passion is where like where your career is getting out to you. So be clear before deciding the country or before deciding anything. Be sure like what is that you want to at last like start with. So that is what is going to help you out in your career options. So
So
coming to
true.
the next question, Prateek. Yes. So what are the skills and education required for banking jobs particularly? So because in India, I think there's a myth of telling that it is only an academic requirement, which is now broken. Students know that how strong profile building needs to be, to
So true.
stand out in the crowd which is there from across the world, right? So if you can just give a few like points where our students can really like go ahead and know the things, like what are the requirements,
Sure.
Pratik?
So I will start off with the education part because I think a lot
Yeah.
of students are confused with this part. So,
Yeah.
any sector down here in Canada, you can make a switch. That's the best part about being into North American environment. If someone is coming up from an engineering field, wants to
Hmm.
pursue a career in banking, most forward, go ahead. Any nuclear scientist, go ahead.
Hmm.
Like it's a mix and match of these things. The
Yes.
only education that you need related to the banking sector or the finance sector is the right licenses. And the
Okay.
CSC, the Canadian Security Course, it's a legalized governed body that, works out with the finance sector. So once you have these set of licenses, you
Hmm.
make your way towards the banking because everyone initially starts at an entry level. If no one has
Exactly.
an experience, let's say I came over here, like, though I had a big experience from back home, but I started up as a Canadian experience. So, like, because I was a student, I was doing all the
Hmm.
things right, mix and matching my
Yes.
situation, like, and going forward. So I did the license forwarded and followed the path of, being an immigrant or an international student in the country and being with the first spot. And that is important.
Yes.
So a lot of people who think like, you need only the finance side, only the fraud side, only like, relatively finance subjects to get into the banking job. No, like, you just need the right
Yes.
licenses, the right networking to approach this. Second, let's talk about the skills.
Yes.
Now, each and every finance field
Yes.
will require like a each set of skills itself. The only major skills that you need in order to have an entry into the organization is the time management, the positive attitude,
Yes.
and the third is your time skills. These were the three skills that the colleges in Canada will teach you as an international student. And it's beautiful, it changes you out from a
Yes.
person. Moving from here, these were some soft skills, some hard skills
Yes.
that really someone can possess is like working on their Excel. Finance field will require a lot of MS Excel skills. So if someone
Lot
is
of
coming out to this
exactly.
position, like, and they want to go forward, your licenses, your MS Excel
Hmm.
skills, there are some platforms like each and every company runs on. Some of the famous ones is Oracle. So if you know something about it, like, or you
Hmm.
have a desire to learn about it, you will be doing really good. So these are the soft and the hard
Yes.
skills that combine together get you the things that you really want for yourself.
Exactly. So, like, I have a question here, Prateek. Is that like you're telling about, the courses which they need? But as
Mhm.
you told the first point that they need to get a license. So, how easy is it, like, to get it, or how difficult it is to get it for the
So
different students who are coming from different backgrounds who have no knowledge about it? Yes.
I would say, like, the first part, like, when I talk about like having a license for the banking itself, there are two major licenses where it revolves around. One
Mhm.
is IFSC and one is CSC. Like these both come from a Canadian securities course. Now,
CSC.
Canadian Security Course is not an
Yeah.
institution, but it is a legal body that governs the
Yes.
finance sector, like a FinTrack. Okay. And these are the bodies
Yeah.
that provide you with the
Yes.
licenses to learn about the Canadian structure. Now, the hardness and the easiness
Hmm.
will depend on someone how fast and how slow he grasps about the situation. A lot of students who are not for the finance ground, like who are coming or making their career, making a switch, like may find it a bit hard at the first. Like I'm not saying it will be extremely out of the blue that you're going to learn
Exactly.
everything in 3 days or 4 days.
Yes.
They
Yes.
can give themselves time, like a week or a month, to understand the concepts, what's going on. Because a lot of people like you are coming from non-finance ground won't even know what are balance sheets, what are accounts receivables, like so
Yes.
everything those way. But
Yes.
once they learn, once they have things, it's up. I would still say like it's a beautiful license to go forward with. Definitely one
Yes.
thing. Second, it's
Yes.
a bit on a costlier side. So a lot of like students, like make a switch like on and off. Like, they want to be there, but they don't want to be there. They're just scared, like, will I be
Yes.
putting up this much amount of money and get it like in return?
Uh,
If someone is seeing like that, like definitely then I have no words on it. Because, if you see that
exactly.
as an expense, like towards your thing, because you shouldn't see the skill set as an expense, like that
Expense. Yes.
really matters the most down here. Your skill set, the possession, the
Yes.
idea of things happening for you, because you want to decide why you want to be there.
Exactly.
So the
Yes.
yes. So my main thing comes forward, like, like it depends on the student how they are taking it. A lot of students just
Yes.
complete CSC in 2 months, like average time is like 4 to 5 months, because you go through two sides, you do set
Huh.
one, you do set two. There are two
True.
exams in this CSC, you have to pass those. And
Yes.
once you are licensed, like, a lot of banks trust you and they call you up for an interview. That's the best part. You
So
don't even
that is
have to.
what we speak. Yes,
Yes,
exactly. That is what the return on investment is, right? So
exactly.
once, like in the beginning part, only if you're thinking about the expenses and all that things, it is not going to work out. You have to do it because you know that in Canada, doing this course is 100% sure of getting you an investment back.
And I believe like we international students or international immigrants have so much power, because the first most decision is to immigrate to this country, which is a bit on an expensive side, because everyone wants to be in Toronto, like, and then when everything like,
Yes.
feels out, when we start converting the factors, like converting dollars to Indian rupees, that
Yeah.
where, like our ethics kick in, like, oh, should I get this or not? But I would still say, if anything is relatively giving you a return in the long term, like,
Yes.
definitely go ahead with it, like without
Yes.
even thinking about it. But just like have a thought, like, is it good enough? Are you be able gonna be do it? Like,
Yeah.
because you have to be committed. You have to
Yeah.
provide the best assessment of yourself, and it will turn out really good.
Yes, it is investment of work and money altogether, your passion and everything. So it is not
Definitely.
only about telling that, okay, I'll pay and I'll get. It's not like that, guys. So you have to work on it. You have to invest your time first of all, right? And that is how things are going to work out for a good future, right, Prateek?
Exactly. I
Yes.
can never disagree on that, to the point.
Yeah. Yeah. So let us go to our next question, Prateek. So maybe even our students would be very, like excited about. Is there any specialized, as they were asking about it, right? Banking jobs. So guys, these are the specialized certifications you need, right? But just a question, Prateek. Like this is the courses which you have told about getting in Canada. Like once the students come in, but I just wanted to know, like any of the courses where students can, which they can do it in India, says that they'll have a, they'll be having a profile weightage to apply
Mhm.
for the colleges or universities.
Okay, so I would say if someone is still over there in India itself, see, CSC has an option
Mhm.
to give an exam, an online exam by paying up some
Mhm.
certain amount of fees. You can do it from
Mhm.
outside India too.
India
Because
too. Okay.
exactly, like, if you search up, IFIC or CSC, like it will take you to the page, like, where you have to like buy the material and learn about it.
Learn
I would
about
still say it's a very good option. If someone is having like 6 months, 7 months, like left, like in order to immigrate, they are just like deciding, like, if I want to make a
applying.
career in this and I don't want
Mhm.
to waste time, then I would seriously suggest, like, even if you don't want to give an exam, study about these certifications, because that is a
Yes.
big picture.
End of the
Second,
day, knowledge matters is what you're telling, right?
exactly, so true.
Yes.
Because, till the time you come over here in Canada, you already know, like, the certain rules and regulations, how the finance structure behaves. Because
Hmm.
every country has a different scope of learning, right? And as in India, we were more treated up towards the bookish knowledge, but here it's more about the practical knowledge, right? You will still
Yes.
have a bit of a bookish knowledge there, but these examples will be implemented in the real life, and I'm telling this for a long term, because if someone starts up with a job in finance sector, specifically banking sector, like,
Banking. Hmm.
it will be amazing journey, guys. I love the concept so much. Like, I'm always happy. You'll always see a smile on my face when I talk about banks and finance.
Exactly.
That's the bigger picture,
Exactly.
so I
Yes.
would still say,
And you're
like,
so excited from the beginning of the session, and I'm too, like getting so much of things
thank you
telling
so
and
much. I think
students. Yes.
this was one of the biggest chapters of my life, like that what I wanted to achieve. And I think I'm there, like, midway, like, or not midway, I've started up, but I would want to guide each and everyone who makes me feel like, yes, this is the one for you. So that's what I want to tell everyone. Like, if you feel like this is the one, give your 100%. The returns will come back. The
Yes.
position, the achievement, the attainment, they will come back. It's just that you have to be there. You have to be fully there mentally and physically, and it will
Physically.
be like amazing for you. So those are the certifications I'm talking about. Go on their website, CSC. If someone don't want to do it, or someone who's super experienced, because
Hmm.
I think a lot of students also come up as an like skilled immigrant, take a
Yes.
1 year course and do that. For them,
Yes.
there is a CFA, there's a chartered financial auditing, or there
Yeah.
is a C camps, like these are the license that will really improve the skill set that you're needing. And once you
Hmm.
land in Canada, you have something, you can give out the exam, so you're not wasting any time. So that's such a beauty.
Exactly.
You have an
Yes.
exam, you get the result, and then you apply to jobs, like, yes, like it will take a bit of a time, because see,
I
it's
mean,
the
it's such so wonderful, for the students.
so
I mean,
true. I
like
think this country
financially as
is,
well as financially,
it's,
Look,
I
getting
think
a
this
job, just
Canada.
yeah, do just put some of your energy and just go and grab the opportunities out there, guys.
And I
And
would
I
seriously
mean,
tell
like,
everyone, like,
yes,
this country is made up for international students. It's such a great approach down here. And
yes,
it's so much of respectfulness, for each other and anywhere around. Like, you're gonna feel like you belong to this, country and the city. No one would love to go back, like, obviously, like, some conditions would be different for a lot of people,
yes,
but
yes,
you will see the difference, when you come down here, and it's super beautiful, like, I'm still bemused. I'm in Canada, like, sometime I wake up in the morning, oh my god, it's snowing, like, in the month of June it's
yeah.
snowing, like, so that makes me feel okay. Pratik, you choose the reason to be here in Canada, so you have no reasons to complain about it. And I
Yes,
think that
and
goes forward, that goes hand in hand.
exactly. And like Canada from the beginning, like when we started our career, we were always known for, for PR, right? The student. I mean, like for
Definitely.
peoples, they welcome them, and that is how they're giving so much opportunities to go ahead.
I would still say, like, till the time, like in another 5, 10 years, this country will need a lot of international students, a lot of labor force. And, like we being coming into this country as a young professionals, having some experience, having no experience, that doesn't
Hmm.
count. But what you do down here, like that's completely different. That will change your life is the matter, the
Exactly.
most of the things.
Exactly, exactly. So yes, Prateek, going with our next question, Prateek, like how was the job market, there? So like after COVID, obviously we know that there is a crash down everywhere. So what about Canada, and how difficult was it to find or get a job in Canada in the banking sector? Like because of the students who will be coming now, or the students who have already like landed there for a year. So what is the scene for them? Like how it is going to be
Okay, so the major first thing that is like the job market trend after COVID, like
after COVID?
I got the promotion like as a financial planner, or I should say the senior manager planner, like, during COVID itself, when the COVID
Okay,
was started, like,
great.
and I know like it was just a regular day for me going to the office when I was told like I've been promoted. So, like this
Wow.
whole pandemic itself, like 2019 of April
Hmm.
itself, like, sorry, 2020 of April
20.
itself, I got the promotion in hand. So, it has been a
Wow.
beautiful journey after that. So the
Exactly.
main reason, like, now everyone knows Canada was the last and the only the last option to open up things like that was supported for them. So
Exactly.
job market at this moment of time is on a crunch. Like, there are jobs,
Obviously.
but then they don't want to take out for the, like positions that are like listed publicly. Okay.
Publicly,
Because
yeah.
in Canada, the situation that works is you have an internal referencing and you have an external referencing. External
Hmm.
referencing are the jobs that people see on the job boards, Indeed,
Okay.
LinkedIn, Monster, like,
Yes.
these are the websites itself.
Yes. Yes.
But the
Yes.
internal job market comes from a person who's actually working over there. So, that's kind of a networking, or that's kind of a, like a hidden job market that a lot of people talk about. Now,
Yes.
finding a job in banking sector during this COVID time was bit tough because see, a lot of businesses were not going. A lot of students, when they start up in the
Exactly.
banking sector, they start with the retail
Hmm.
banking where it is more like an involvement with the customers itself. So because
Yeah.
banks had a lot of people back then, like, from 2020 to 2021, even they are still running out on that. But the budgeting
Yes.
part that happened with the banks thing or the finance industry at that portion
Yeah.
of time was limited, but now they are opening up because
Limited.
now everyone is getting vaccinated. So that's the best
Exactly.
news for a lot of students who are coming. Like I
Yes.
still know the flights are banned from India. They are not allowed to like,
Yeah.
go forward with it. But
Unfortunately, yes.
the January intake is coming up. The
Yes.
new year is coming up. So, like a lot of people are vaccinated. It's not
Hmm.
hard to get into a banking sector, but it became a bit tricky because see, as an immigrant, what we suggest for ourselves, like just go with the banks, like just have a career with the banking itself.
Banks.
A lot of people question me, like, Pratik, why do I need to put a license when I'm putting so much of my international fees coming
Money.
here? So, but I
Exactly.
talked about in
Yes.
the previous video, what are the benefits of having a license and not having a license?
Offered.
Even after COVID,
Yes.
I would
Yes.
still say the situation's opening up. So a lot of students who are coming and starting their career, no matter, it's not just about the banking, but it's just about the whole
Ex-
sector overall.
Whole sector of finance. Yes.
Exactly. There are a lot of
Yes.
opportunities. People like, the the sector you are looking at, you just need to do a thorough understanding of why you want to be there, connect with the great people.
Exactly.
That's what I have done, like my networking has been on the top notch. Like, it has been through LinkedIn, connecting with
Huh.
those professionals that I see myself with in the
Yes.
futures, and that
So this
matters.
is what even we at Prateek like tell at LeapScholar to the students: it's create a LinkedIn profile, and like go out. Like I mean,
Definitely.
like even if you approach 100 of people's there, even 10 of them replying to you would be of a great
And
success
Sarma,
right there.
I would love to
That's
share an experience. When I came in Jan 2018, I was the
huh.
last one to get a job. I got my first part-time job in May 2018. From January to May, I had
Okay.
nothing.
Yeah.
So but it didn't
Okay.
stop me. Like I was still going out, like distributing my resumes like in
Yes.
and around in person, applying like
Exactly.
towards the job market, like, going ahead, like,
Yes.
being everywhere. So I think at that time of portion itself, like, if a lot of employers would have seen me, I think my name would have popped up in each and every organization. And
Yes.
I don't know if that was a good thing or no, but no one told me about it, and that was the reason
Exactly.
to understand, like, this thing will work, but with this, I have to start my networking too. My
Exactly.
LinkedIn
So
should be the
networking.
greater thing.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
And I think,
this point is, yes, what I want to come to, Prateek. Like, because see, be in India, obviously, like, we don't know how exactly, like, the students who really don't have an idea, like, how am I going to go and find a job there? Networking means, like, how is that
exactly.
I'm going to just, going to connect to peoples and tell them, or see them, approach them. So what kind of approach do you look for, Prateek? Or how it will be easier for the students to get approach and get networking for that?
Okay, so first thing I want to say over here, like a lot of students, when they go over LinkedIn itself, they only do, like, if they find someone that they can get
Hmm.
connected with, they just type
Yes.
a cold message, like, and ask for a job. See,
Okay.
down here in Canada, it doesn't work like that. Giving out a reference is giving out, like in Hindi, we say, apni izzat dena, like, giving up your
Huh.
things itself, and that matters the most. See, if I don't
Yes.
know anyone, like, I'm not going to give a reference. That's the better
Exactly.
picture. So rather than approaching people on that, and then student get like confused, like, I asked the right thing. Why didn't they respond it to me? Why didn't they just saw my message and never
Exactly.
thought about it, never connected with me? So that is a very wrong approach. I would definitely
Yes.
urge students to come, when they come on their LinkedIn game,
Hmm.
don't just send invitation to each and everyone. That's not even related to your field, because your research is so important. When I
Exactly.
came, I was only looking at the banking pages and the banking recruiters, or people that were on LinkedIn. That I
Hmm.
think I will share this secret with you guys really soon, like how I find my job like related to it. So, I was getting in touch with the pages that, like was supported, because there are a lot of pages on LinkedIn, like a community hub, like, or
Hmm.
Facebook, or like, everywhere, each and everywhere. So you have to look at. Second thing I did was, like, rather than asking for a job, I asked the people who were at that level that I want to see myself by framing a
Exactly.
message like, hi, I'm a new
Hmm.
immigrant in the country and I'm
Hmm.
going forward with my education from this college in this subject. I
Yeah.
just wanted to know what skill set can I possess to be at a position one day that you are looking at. And
So that is
that
how the difference is, right, Prateek? Like, see,
exactly.
the first point which you told me, like, just putting a job requirement and explaining this deep is what the difference comes. That is where the difference is.
And I believe like a lot of students, or even like immigrants like us who have, like, like graduated from school, we are doing the
Hmm.
same mistake. No one will give you a job related to that market, like, because I don't know anyone. If I know someone who's like, a very known person, a friend, a
Hmm.
family immigrant,
Hmm.
the first like cousin itself, I would just love to put up my reference for them and like get them in, like, but the
Yeah.
things work different. You have to go forward with that way. And that is such so much of room like to talk about from the other person, because see, he
Hmm.
doesn't know you, he hasn't met you anytime, he's just looking at that
Exactly.
message and he's like filter out his emotions, like what he goes to, because it goes everything in
Exactly.
backflash. And that happens.
Yes.
Third thing that I do over LinkedIn is that search bar is
Hmm.
really powerful. Over the search bar, I never find
Oh,
financial planners in Toronto, I find I am hiring, because that tagline will change the life of each and every one. That's what I keep on telling to it. So there are a lot of people
yes.
who put up just in their headline, like, I am hiring for data analyst, I am hiring for financial
Yeah.
planners. If
Yes.
you have this license, that's what I'm saying. If no one has an experience from back home, they recently graduated or they're recently
Hmm.
coming up, they're still in
Hmm.
school, they're looking for this 20 hours part-time job opportunity in banks
Job.
itself. There
Yeah.
are a lot. There are talent
Yes.
acquisition teams. So, like, so if someone sees that, those are the recruiters that actually like get you from one organization to another.
To
So rather
other.
than searching
Yes.
and filtering out the old method, choose these
Exactly.
right methods. Like, go on the search bar, I am hiring, see the list of people that pops up, and filter
Yeah.
out to like last 3 days, last 7 days, because your chances to apply early increases to the amount of people who have already applied in the past,
Yeah.
because your
Yeah.
application starts from the bottom. If you start up early, your application is already on the top. And please
Yes.
don't expect, like, just from one or two clicks, just connecting with one or two people, you're going to hear a job. There will be a
Next.
lot of rejections. guys, like,
Exactly.
we are coming up for a better future. This thing has to go slow. I got
Sure.
rejected from
Yes.
20 interviews. I think when I got my first BMO job as a
Oh,
student, sir, I was rejected from 20 interviews. And I think I was questioning myself a lot. Like, am I even good enough for this? Like, did I choose the
yeah.
right path? So, all the negativity, you have to turn that into a positivity, like, because that's the
Yes.
biggest thing for you. And that's
Mm.
what I wanted to share with each and everyone. Go on LinkedIn, make that LinkedIn crisp. Your headline should portray who you are, how you're doing, and the Leap Scholar team, like, if someone listens to you, like, go forward. I think that is the most important part they can hear about or learn
Yes.
about it. So that's my key
Yeah.
takeaway.
See, that was such an important point, Pratik. I don't think so. Anyone would have shared this. I mean, like, obviously, these keywords, I mean, it was so important. And student guys, whoever is online, please, this was a point which is priceless. So you have got an
I
idea, like, before
so true.
going, how you have
and
to
i
do.
think
And
and I
yes.
think I can say that, like, when I came out of school in 2019, I made this Excel sheet, and
Huh,
I was going through that Excel sheet when I got my first job, and
huh.
it showed me, like, in 6 months I applied to 19,300 positions, and I only heard from 28.
See, I mean, like, it
So
was so much
that
of time investment there.
Exactly. Like, and I cannot
Yeah,
apply with the same resume to each and every side. Just go on LinkedIn. Like, I see financial planner, just apply, apply, apply. You have to
वही तो.
make work on the resume itself. And those right
Exactly.
keywords is going to take you away from the ATS. Everyone knows about the applicant tracking system. If your
Hmm.
resume is crisp enough, it has the right keywords according
Hmm.
to the job market, like, that's
Hmm.
over there, or the job opportunities, or the focus they have listed on their website, or the
Hmm.
listing itself. If 90% of that matches your resume, you're getting a call
Done.
from a real person. Else,
Yeah.
your resume is not even going to filter out through ATS. It's just going to stand at someone's desk,
Yeah.
go on a junk email, and, like, you're never going to hear it. So, a lot of people who question
That's
about it, like,
how.
exactly, a lot of question that comes forward from there itself. Like, I applied to so many positions, nothing came forward. It's just because your
Exactly.
resume didn't track the right keyword, and that mattered the
Exactly.
most.
So this is what we were telling from the beginning students. Like, guys, just it's not about academics, right? So if like these are the points that you have to grasp. These opportunities in this era, like getting into social media, there are so many opportunities you have to go ahead. And this is the only, like, you attend these sessions and persons, gem of persons like Prateek giving you such points where you're not going to get from anywhere is one of the things. So
Thank you so
yes,
much.
Prateek. Yeah. So just wanted to know, Prateek, like, what is the average, salary of banking jobs in Canada there? What would be the starting salary? And even if a person is really new, a student, what would be his, like, thing? So if you can just give a brief
Sure.
explanation about it, Prateek.
So I'll talk this in two scenarios, one with the non-licensed and one with the licensed. Okay. So people who are coming out right of the school itself, let's say, like, they start up now their career as a full-timer in bank. Through some reasons, they got the, like, through LinkedIn done, and they got an interview itself. This is one of
Hmm.
the most trickiest question that they will get, because if they say a higher number, no one is going to pick them up. So I
Exactly.
think, like, once you are into the job market and you're starting your career, don't expect anything above $15 an hour,
Yes.
because that is really a big picture that comes forward. Because for
Yes.
this amount, you're going to get hired. You have to develop the trust into your employer or the
Yes.
manager that you're working with. Once they see
Yes.
how hardworking you are, the
Hmm.
best part about banks is, like, if someone gets into the banks at an entry level as a customer service representative, these jobs
Yeah.
are available and you can get easily, like, so just
Easily.
the right
Okay.
resume. If the
Yes.
manager sees, like, you are really hardworking, you have
Hmm.
really a concept, open approach to things itself, because again, your
Exactly.
customer service skills and your speaking skills will come forward for it. But it doesn't mean that if someone is not good in English, he's not going to get it. Guys, if you put up the effort, you will.
Huh.
The managers do see up
Yes.
your thing, like how much, like, potential you have and how much efforts you
Potential.
put in.
Skills what the students
Best
have.
best part about being in a banking job is, like, once the manager sees it, they're going to help you out getting a license done at the cost of a bank itself. So
See,
the
what
best
else do
part,
they need?
exactly. So the best part is you're saving $1,600, which is the
Yeah.
big amount for any student, any
Yeah.
immigrant, and the
Yes.
bank tells you to do it. Because that's the big picture, and they give you time. They give you, like, you stay at a job, you work,
Yes.
but once you go back, study for the license
Study
itself.
for the
So
license.
For the new professionals coming out, no experience at all or anything, $15 is enough.
Enough.
Second, let's
Yes.
talk about with someone who had experience from back home into a related field. They came for
Hmm.
a financial planning course, has already done CSC.
Yes.
Now, their approach to the job will be different because now they will see this license also added up to the cost. Now they will try to like take out this cost from the the amount they receive from the the position itself.
Hmm.
I think a lot of employers do hire and prefer like professionals who already had experience, have a CSE and moving as a full-time career. They
Hmm.
will ask you about this, the salary a lot of time. Hey, what is your expected salary? Now
Expected
over
salary.
here again, don't say a big number. You
Exactly.
eventually start at 17, $18 an hour, which is
Okay.
roughly at 42,000 to 45,000 annually, plus
Annually.
some benefits added. Like, you'll have the healthcare, you'll have a group
Yeah.
benefits, you'll
Yes.
have like a,
Yes.
an investment account. So being on that part matters the most.
Hmm.
Just don't out of the blues, like expect a higher salary because first and foremost, the students who are coming out, like, you just have a bit of an idea of this industry because you have done a PGDM, not a master's degree. If
Yes.
someone graduated
Masters.
from a
Yes.
master's in finance from University of Toronto,
Hmm.
their approach to
Hmm.
things will be different, right? But these
Different.
PGDM
Exactly.
helps you out to get a better idea like what the job requirement needs, what that hot market at the moment needs, and you learn that in
Yes.
PGDM. That's the best quality of it. But match it
Skills,
with yes, like match it with a
Skills.
license or no license, go there, like show your
Hmm.
skills, show your
Yes.
attainment. I never
Hmm.
had skills. See, I was never a public speaking figure. Like I'm so lucky I have a YouTube. The community belongs over there. They're seeing me and they're deciding their future. So it's a very big picture when you show that trust to someone that you can do it and and they
Yes.
follow that path. So guys, like
Exactly.
this is the better picture. Have confidence in yourself. You will land into a job. If I would have been like bemused and like gone down with its 20 rejections, I wouldn't have been
Yeah.
sitting over here
So
over
you need
this.
to be so optimistic end of the day. It is about just getting the positive vibe from somewhere and just going and going and going.
Exactly. That's the most important picture over here. And that will help you out even as a person, the person you are becoming.
Exactly.
Like,
It
your
builds your
mindset changing.
personality. Yes.
Exactly. And
And
I
that
think the
is
best
going
part
to
about
help you.
Canada.
Yes, that is going to help every student in every aspect of life. It's not only about getting a job or getting a college or university. It's not or getting a PR. It's not about that.
So true.
It is every aspect of the life, right? So that is how, guys, it is just, end of the day, it's building you in a whole thing. It is holistic way that we have to look around, right, Prateek?
So true.
Yes. So coming to our next question, Prateek,
Ooh.
like just wanted to know, like, what were your challenges? Obviously, like we are very sure from the beginning of the conversations, getting 20 rejections, applying for so many, like resumes and posting your resumes that, guys, we know already like what are the challenges the Prateek, like have got. Like overcoming that is also a point, right, Prateek? So how do you
Exactly.
stay stable? Some point you would have break down, or you'd have thought that is it going to work out really, or what am I going to do after this? So
I think
how will you apply? Yes.
sure. So I think I'll try to answer these in 4 or 5 points itself, but let's go from the part itself. Like, I kind of felt I was really unlucky that I couldn't even land a part-time job. Like that was my
Oh
attitude
my.
towards the thing itself. And
Yeah.
it's a cold winter, like January intake,
Yes.
winter, like
Yeah.
minus 25,
Yes.
you don't have a job. So, like so many thoughts evolve your head, and then you don't want to like show a weak person in front of your family
Exactly.
because the family
Yes.
will also be troubled. But
Yes.
the better picture is if there's a gloomy days, there are bright days too. So
Yeah.
first thing that I did most importantly was to connect with people who have a similar experience or who are at a level that I want to be. So, deciding this early is really going to help you out because I learned this really late. Okay,
Yeah.
I started building my LinkedIn like from August 2018. So look at the amount of time from, like Jan to August, I
August.
already wasted. I had no skill
August.
set over there. The
Yes.
first challenge came to me over there. It's that I didn't have enough resources, like
Yeah.
enough connections to go forward and ask and look around their
Ask.
profile and everything. So, keep your eyes open towards the thing that you really see. That will be the most important.
Exactly.
Second challenge I faced in this economy itself, I used to think, or that was my thought process, or what I was feeded up from my, like senior students and all was
Yeah.
you don't expect to be a really a good person down here, like because you will be like crushed so much just because you're an international student and you won't find a good job. So, you know, the talks that happen near you, they actually like make you
Matters.
or break you. And I was at a point, like, you know, when I chose global business management, so I'm like, you know, everyone was so negative about this course because everyone told
Huh.
me the only job you're going to find is a labor job. They
Oh
told
my
me
God.
about this the first time, you know, like we are
Okay.
working at this, like, you know, because my first job started at Costco and a lot of my seniors were like working
Hmm.
at Costco wholesale, like, you know, at a
Huh.
mediocre 16, $17 an hour, what I started up. And that
Hmm.
kind of made me like really, really, you know, stupid, I
Yes.
should say, at that point of time. Like, did I make a right choice in life? And that was the
Exactly.
biggest fear for me that came forward, you know, like because then I think I was having goosebumps and I was just thinking what I would like go forward with it. But
Obviously, yes.
again, like, you know, your talks, those were the challenges, like not having a right people and not
Yes.
maintaining my, you know, like connections or maintaining my friends in and around
Hmm.
who can like
Hmm.
support and motivate me. That was the thing.
Exactly.
Third thing that
Exactly.
came forward is like
Hmm.
not making enough friends, not making enough, you know, like
Networking,
resources per
as we were
se.
speaking. Yes.
Exactly, you know, because
Yes.
if you are an extrovert in this economy, you're
Hmm.
gonna do so amazingly well because you
Yeah.
have these so many right tools to like talk to each and everyone. And that improves your
Yes.
communication game, that improves your like, you know, the customer service game. You can be like more bold about it. And I think
Yeah.
those are the challenge that I didn't wanted to do, like, you know, or I was too scared to like come out of it.
Come
And
out of
fourth
it.
one,
Yes.
and I think the fourth one for me was basically like, you know, to not having a right guidance, like, you know, to do the
Guidance.
part itself for me. And that
Uh,
mattered or that killed me the most. So
yeah.
a lot of people who feel that, you know, like they won't have these right things for themselves, it's just about your thinking, guys, because this culture, like away from the family, because back home any decision that used to come to us, dad is there, mom is there, or your siblings
Exactly.
are there, you know, like someone
Yes.
who's already been there, you know, we can ask them. We used to rely on their shoulders, right, to make the trip
Exactly.
happen. But
Exactly.
over here you come out as a different person, you are a very
Yes.
different breed down here, and that's the most exciting thing about you, because you come to know about your flaws, your fears,
Yes.
and you go
Yes.
forward with them. I
Exactly.
took all of these rejections, the 20 rejections that I got. They were like so many. Like, I think the
Yes.
common ones that I had was you don't have a Canadian experience. Okay.
Hmm.
You are really young for this position itself. That was I was
Position.
told about it. Third,
Hmm.
like you really need extra licenses, not just this. So, you know, take these small steps as a big conclusion for yourself and eat them up. Don't get them overcrowded to your head. Eat them up,
Exactly.
guys. Like, listen from one year, take it out and start again. I did the same thing. I knew my resume is not good. That's why it's not happening and I'm not cracking into the interviews. And
Hmm.
your position of levelness and, you know, like wholesome level of yours changes with each and every interview, because now you know what questions are coming up, how you're going to prepare yourself, and, you know, like what mistakes you're not going to make it out there. Because if
Yes.
the number game, the salary game was an issue, obviously no one is going to hire me. So, you know,
I
you
know.
learn about that in one or two interviews. Now you know like what to speak about it. So these
Yes.
interviews will really guide you up towards the person you are becoming, and it will
Yes.
help you out immensely, like, you know. But stay focused, stay like positive that you are getting this, else you will be really crushed. And I don't want each and everyone to see someone like who's really like desperate to find a job and they do anything possible to get a job. So never gonna
Yes.
work like that.
Yes. So we have the questions here from our students, Prateek. So
Sure.
before going to the next questionnaires, like there are a lot of people, telling us hi today, like Muskan, Xavier, and a lot of people, Prateek. So there's a student, Prateek, Harshdeep Kang, who is asking us, like BCom plus 2 year bank job in India, and if she goes to Canada for an HR job, okay,
Mhm.
so getting into an HR job in banking industry, will that be easy, or how difficult it is going to be is what she's
See,
asking.
for a lot of HR people, like because I work closely to now recruiters and the hiring managers too, the only thing that comes forward over here is you need to have a lot of good experience and you need to know a lot about the labor laws in the country. So if you're
Hmm.
really good about it, like, you know, obviously it makes a difference if you chose a course related to HR, you know, make a study out of it. And there's a license with HR also, that's called a CHRP license. You know, if you get that,
Okay.
like definitely a lot of employers trust you. But, you know,
Hmm.
I wouldn't say this is a gam, because see, every person will play a very different role into the job market, and not everyone is same. Like, you know, that's what I say. Like these experience
Yes.
that I share with you, these are just to overcome the barriers you're
And
gonna
this is
go
so
with. And
such an important experiences, right? Because
I
before we
completely
get into this, we are coming to know like what are the challenges, how are you going to do, which you didn't have past in 2016,
so true.
17,
I think
18.
if someone would have sit with me, like, face to face, Prateek, do this right, do this wrong, I
Yes,
think it would have been such
yes,
a complete story, right? Then you're just following a
exactly,
footprints, like, that wasn't a
exactly.
fun. You need to go through some, like really bad days, come out as a really good person, believe in
Yes,
yourself. That believing
yes,
part is like so hard with some students. But I'll
yes.
let you know, guys, like this will help you out in such a long run. You're like, I want to wish like no one gets a rejection like me, like 20 rejections on the file straight back to back,
But
like
you're an example, Prateek. You're an example, an inspiration, I would tell. Like after having so
thank
many
you so much.
rejections, coming optimistically, banging back with hard work. That is where students, thing is. And I would suggest everyone. And I think Harshdeep, Kang, your question is also been answered, where Prateek has given you an, answer about it. So there's also like one of our students asking Pradeep that what would be the basic skill. So what is the basic skill that anyone needs to go with finance? Like what is it, Pradeep?
I would say, like, again, like last topic, I talk about the soft and the hard skill. Hard skill, if you really want to learn MS Excel. Like that is one thing that will get you to the core that you really want. So if someone has a lot of
Exactly.
time, go forward with the Microsoft tools. There are a lot of, free stuff over YouTube. There is a Google Skills shop available, so if someone search that, it's right over there.
Yes.
Second soft skill that you need is like, be with an open mind person. That will really change the game for you. I don't have exact word for this, like do this, do not, because if this doesn't
Exactly.
happen, then someone will be the blame factor, like, Pratik
Yes.
told me this happened. So as I'm saying, I treat each and every person like same level as mine, because everyone is starting on the same game,
Same game.
and this
Yes.
is a long game to go with. So if you have the right approach to the things itself, things changes completely. If you're just going there, like, I just need a job, I just need a career, like, you will
No, no,
never
no.
find that. You need
Yes.
to have a passion for that career itself, and that will really drive you up. And this economy is made up that way, because back home, what we used to do, if we don't find a job, we run to consultancy firms, like, and that was
Yes.
the biggest
Yes.
approach that I had back home. That was the
And
first reason I found a
it's
job.
even now it
And
is the same, right, Prateek? Like
exactly,
people apply to consultancies and they look, it is not like that abroad there.
exactly.
And
Over
that
here,
is,
like,
yes,
that's a complete difference. So over here, it's just you for yourself, and like that will come
yes.
forward. If you have connections, very good. If you have a known person who's working at some position that you really want to do, yes, it opens door. But 80% to 90% of the work has to be done by you. You need to know your resume in and out. You need to know
Exactly.
you as a person in and out, like, so that you can go in an interview and like, they say in the term itself, like, skyrocket to the Mars, or don't like go to the ocean,
Go for it.
like either you
Yes.
go up or either you go down. That will be the
Go
basic
down.
thing. So that comes forward. So I think like these are the skills that you really need. Work on
Exactly.
some tools that are really needed, because
Really
financial
needed.
planners or any finance jobs will require a lot of Microsoft tools to be working around in a
Exactly.
day-to-day basis. So do work
Exactly.
on them.
So brush up on your skills, guys. That is basically what it means. You have to, it is not only academic, but brush up on the skills, the courses which Prateek was telling before our sessions, while starting of the sessions, and now which he has shared it. Just point out if it is possible and just, go ahead with it. We have a student, one more student, Prateek, Riddhi Semwal, who is asking about fintech carriers in Canada.
Oh, amazing. So FinTrack is the first governing body that relates to any fraud that happens on a credit and a debit card. So that is a very big industry. For
Hmm.
this kind of jobs or any kind of financing jobs, you will need a really good credit score. So guys who have never worked on their credit back home, coming to
Hmm.
Canada, this will be the major priority for you. Work on your
Hmm.
credit score. For Finterac, there is a license called ACAMS, so do search that
Hmm.
out. Like, go forward with that license, because if you're going into a regulated industry, that's what I'm saying. The industry which are governed and which
Yes.
have a tie-ups will require the license. They won't even take you up without it. A
Yes.
lot of people tell me
Without.
like just go for AML, anti-money laundering. Yes,
Hmm.
anti-money laundering is good, but Finterac supports a higher license because you're learning so much in a bigger license comparatively. It's just like a bigger umbrella that actually like
Hmm.
saves you from the day-to-day basis. And go forward, like touch that part. ACAMS Finterac is a beautiful fraud industry. You have so much scope to grow, and this industry will never disappoint you, because every day you're learning about a new type of a hack that happened into someone's account. So it's
Exactly.
so much to learn about. she's gonna love it.
Yes.
I really wish you like you do the license really very fast. Even if you don't have
Yes.
an experience, don't worry about it. Start networking. Look at the people who are at the level. That's is gonna like change the whole game for you. You are getting a license, you're connecting with people, and it will change you forever because you learn the soft and the hard skills again. So that is the my
Yes.
takeaway.
Yes. So Riddhi, these are the points. You have a really good future out there. And the points which Pratik have already told, LinkedIn profile, please work on it and go ahead. It is going to help you. And we have another question, Pratik, and this is a question from a lot of students stating that rather than banking and the fintech, which Riddhi just asked, like what will be the, job prospects or careers rather than banking and these sectors? Like any two or
Okay.
three, if you can just tell me.
Sure. So see, as I've said, finance industry is very big. If we are not talking about the banks, there is a finance industry with any retail store. Let's talk about Walmart. Let's talk about
Yes.
McDonald's. Like
Yes.
you have a career down the line, but how do you get to those careers is only through
Yes.
networking, guys. Like no one will
Network.
come to you and save you. Like, okay, like, XYZ person, you don't have a job. There you go. I'll offer
You
you a
give
job. No
it.
one will do that.
Yes.
This economy
No.
is so competitive. You're like, and that makes you a person that wants to come out of the shell. So if someone is not looking into banks, let's say like XYZ reason, I don't want to be at a bank, I don't want to do this license.
Hmm.
There are sectors available in and around with the retail industry, hospitality industry, food industry, like, where you can make your
Please.
good career. It's not just
Yes.
that you have to be there. It was just my passion to follow. So, like a lot of students who have a common interest, yes, go
Hmm.
there. But a lot of students, when they come down here, they see different careers option available for themselves. So I would still say yes, there are possibilities. Yes, there are licenses. Look into it, dwell into it. Digital marketing, like still over there, like, or
Hmm.
entrepreneurship, HRM, like everything's come forward. Like IT
Yes.
engineers, software engineers, everything has a scope. It's just that you need to know where you are applying,
Where
and
you
that
are.
will come forward.
Exactly. 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 And we have cash flow management also, which is actually, a big
So
boom, I
true.
think, right, Pratik? Which is
We
going to
have
help
a
our
lot of
students.
yeah we like that depends on the person like what they are interested, so like they'll come to know about
Exactly.
their skill set, the hard skills, what they're really good at, and make a
Hmm.
career out of it. So as I'm saying, like, finance industry is a very big regulated industry. It's in each and every domain, each and every
Yes.
sector. So like
Yes.
not just like core finance, but someone can start with a semi finance job also, like, to go forward.
Exactly.
And career prospect, don't just like, I can't expect anything like, like sitting at a manager position just coming out of the school itself because I've done this license. No, go
Yes.
ahead, find that part, and it will be good for you.
Yes, yes. So I also just wanted to ask you, Pratik, because you're so live on YouTube sessions and all that things. Like, what are the frequent or most asked questions, from the students who just want to study or get a job in Canada after their career? Like, what will be the
I
most
think
asked questions?
I think a lot of students, what I have seen from my live sessions is like confused about two courses, like the mix and match things that happen because someone is
Huh.
coming up from a non, like managerial ground, like someone is
Hmm.
coming up from a really not so good course, and then they want to like start a
Hmm.
career and move forward with it. I had this really awkward question the other day, like, can I start with HRM and move forward to become a nuclear scientist? Like, there's no relation
Okay.
at all. Like, like you like
Exactly.
I was so confused. Like I think I paused there for a 30-second itself, and I was just thinking like what might come out of my mouth because I don't even know like how to react to that question, right? So
Exactly.
I think like lot of students like see Canada is a very big, country, not just Toronto. We are just talking about one part of it, right?
Yes,
The
yes.
whole Canada is open up to the things. Whole
Open. Yes.
Canada has a lot of opportunities. The three biggest sectors that I talk about: supply
Hmm.
chain, finance, and your marketing. These are the
Hmm.
three biggest sectors if someone is looking for the banking side or the
Hmm.
business side mentality, right? So your course selection, your vital connection that you have to portray, the person that you make yourself in 2 3 years coming forward, and anything additional that that improves your game is very important. Choose the right
Yes.
course, the relevancy of the course itself. Just don't like come out for nowhere. Someone who's never done a, you know, I should say nuclear scientist role and they're coming from BCom, like obviously you're not gonna get into it because that requires so much of skills. Like,
Yes,
that's why the 10th,
exactly.
12th science ground was so important because it's just like then another South Indian movie where you're just like breaking the rules of the physics itself and want to go forward with it, So
Exactly.
that doesn't happen in real life. So, the bigger picture comes over there, like decide on what you want, make a career out of it, find a relevancy and find a connection that's relevant to the field
Exactly.
that's important.
Exactly. Exactly. So just wanted to ask one more question where, one of our users are also asking, like, he's asking, like, I've done my master's in economics.
Mhm.
So what are the chances in case if he has done economics? What about like his opportunities there?
So, if anyone from economics, hi to people. I'm an economics graduate. I completed my master's in economics too. Like, I have a MSc in economic function, and
Great.
econometrics was my main part. Now, the main thing to come to Canada is like, just to improve your game and just to have a vision for yourself. And how will you show that vision?
Exactly.
Whenever you are immigrating, there are certain documents that attach to the file itself. SOP, the biggest factor, the statement of purpose. So, what's your purpose of immigrating? So,
Yes.
all I have to say to people like, who's coming from a different ground, choosing a different course here in Canada, if you have any skill set relevancy, because see, even in India, studying like, in colleges, university, they teach out the basic life skills, that is important for us. And, you have
Yes.
to go forward with that, attain that, go forward, attach your SOP really well, have a really something relevant to the course that you have really learned, because in economics I also learned
Of
about the
course.
econometrics, like, and macroeconomics.
Yes.
Macroeconomics was basically like the finance field, like,
Exactly.
so that helped me
Huh.
out grabbing the portion that I need. So, like these small subjects that you study in your bachelor's and then you decide to do a PGDM or a master's really matters. But SOP, the major factor to get you over here.
Exactly.
So work on it.
Exactly. Exactly. So that is what we tell students, and this is the session which they are going to. I think it's really going to be very helpful for them. SOP means a
Amazing.
lot.
So true.
Means a lot. And CV, as Prateek was telling, it is so important to build a right CV, and it again differs from. I mean, like from one part to another, right, Prateek? Matlab, you're applying for
Exactly.
one company and you're going for another job for another company. Please upgrade it,
Exactly. Like
right,
same
Prateek?
resume
That
won't work for
is
each and everything, right? And that has been the
exactly.
biggest misconception for people, that you make your resume just one time and every day you sit and apply to 10 jobs. Like you have to
Yes.
change after your fourth or fifth. Not every job will have the same skill set required,
Same
same
skill.
requirements listed over there. Everything will be different. And the right keywords, the right keyword synonyms, like, if they match up to the resume that you have, really makes a difference. First
Hmm.
priority is to like work on your resume in and out. There are very so many free tools, like, and LinkedIn already has their own tool. That is why it's
Oh,
one big, like,
yes.
inbuilt platform that really connects you
Exactly.
well. And you can
Exactly.
optimize your LinkedIn profile, you can optimize your resume. Like there are a lot of like free stuff over the Google itself. So I would say, like,
Hmm.
people, please make your research. Like, not everyone
Yes.
could be like, telling you over the video itself, like, do this exactly and this will happen. Like, you cannot mix two portions and expect a magic coming out. Sometimes it's a kaboom, like, like something doesn't go right, so like, okay, that's a way to learn that it didn't happen. So once you
Hmm.
learn on the skill set, once you learn on the things that you really want, it makes a
Hmm.
lot of difference.
Yes, and this also answers a question, Prateek. Like most of the students only look for top universities and top colleges where they're having a minimal profile. So that
So
doesn't mean, guys, that you are not eligible or you're not going to get there. No, right?
that's
So
the
you
main
have
thing,
so
right?
it end
and
of the day you study anywhere. Yes,
And I think that's
yes.
the biggest
Continue.
question that comes forward, because even like, let's talk about the colleges here in Canada. When the students aim at, they only want to be at Humber, they only want to be at Seneca, George Brown. That's amazing
Exactly.
because your vision is amazing. But the thing is, like, even when you get a job or when you go for an interview, the employer doesn't even check like where you're coming from, what college you have studied.
Exactly.
That's the best part.
Exactly.
What can you expect? Like, back home we were more under the impression, if I don't study from A school or B school, I'm not getting this good job, like this higher
Yes.
package that I need. Over here, your skill set is going to improve everything, change the game. I have been at interviews where I've been sitting with a person who's a graduate from University of Toronto, and I'm just like a regular certification course from Humber. If I
Humble.
would have crushed myself over there, like just stating like, Pratik, you're not getting this job, I will never get any job. But
Yes.
it's just your right approach. And to the good news, like, that was my BMO interview. Like, that happened where a lot of, like, I got like approximately like 17, 18 people who are coming from McMaster, Ryerson, like
Oh,
University of Waterloo, Windsor,
so
like,
competitive, right?
exactly,
So
like it's a
competitive.
big house, like, and we were talking
Yes.
about each other, what you have done, what you have done, why did you choose a certificate, why didn't you choose an MBA? They were talking to me about that. And like, it was more reason, like everyone has their different story, right? I cannot tell them I have a 3-year graduation from country, like, I cannot enroll in masters.
Yes.
It's a different thing. But your right approach at that interview mattered. And I think out of those 16 people, 5 were hired, and I was the only one who was
You
a
were
PG.
one of.
That was the
Yes.
most important. So I felt that as an achievement, like, like just have a right attitude towards the job itself, because if something is
Obviously.
passionate enough, that will show in your eyes, and that the recruiter is going to
Exactly.
see it. So that happened. So
Exactly.
definitely,
Exactly.
it doesn't matter where you study from, where you're coming from. Yes, for the job part, yeah, cities do matter, because bigger
Yes.
city will have a bigger dream, like, and bigger vision for
Opportunities
things
also.
itself, like,
Yes.
and that's important. So but how you start, you can start up at a living at a midtown, like, a small city, not being away from the thing itself, because it's just like, see, I would still say to a lot of students, internet works everywhere. So if you're doing the right thing, you will find the right path, and that's what the most
Right
important
part.
part.
Exactly. Exactly, Prateek. And we'll wind up soon, Prateek. Like, what's that one thing that you wish you knew well in advance, in studying abroad journey, which you have already answered also. Like, I just got to know, right? Because you didn't know, you didn't have a guidance, like who is
Exactly.
going to help you. In case if you would have had that, that was going to be so easy on the path for you,
So true. And I think
right?
I'm lucky enough that it didn't become easy, because I wouldn't have respected this journey. Like, every day
Yeah.
I'm just like thankful to my parents that they decided to fulfill my dream coming to Canada, because, coming from an Indian middle class family, that's the biggest fear. Like, when you come over, like how he's gonna survive, how the finances are gonna work, like, can we take a
Exactly.
loan or no? So, like all of these questions like crowded me also. And I think, like, yes, I still believe, like, I was under the impression that I didn't got much of an help, because everyone used to tell me that,
Yes.
you are super busy down here. But I think that was just a mindset that you have. And you wouldn't believe, like, when I was not getting information on GBM, I think I contacted over Messenger like 7,000 people in 6 months. And out of those 7,000, no one replied to me, just saw the message and left blank. So I knew that, okay, there is something, a
Huh.
serious problem with the things itself. A lot of people don't
Yes.
want to see you, because they want to feel
Mhm.
you as a competition. But
Exactly.
my major approach to the things is, like, if I would have known like what I'm putting my shoes into, where I'm
Mhm.
going, and I
Exactly.
have a basic idea, because I never had any idea about, like a youth, I should say, Canadian education. How does the college life
Mhm.
looks like? And I
Yeah,
was so mad
obviously.
at
Back
so
that
many
time,
things.
the information was so limited.
Exactly. And I think the limited, the
Right?
scattered information, because a lot of, even like, I don't blame communities, like, communities are a great way to build yourself, but a lot of channels were started in Punjabi, and I don't understand Punjabi, like, so I was just having a rough idea towards the thing, okay, this thing happened, like, and no one shares that. But those
Yes.
were some really good things, I think, that converted for myself. And that was the main reason to start this YouTube channel in English, because that is
Yes.
one common language that we're going to be sharing over here,
Exactly.
understanding the things, and that will matter. So those are the tips. Like, I not even tips, like, because I'm too like small to give anyone the tip itself. This all depends from person to person. And
Yeah.
I really, like, love to see many aspiring students making their career, because this
Yes.
country, this vision of yourself is going to take you to places that you haven't even imagined. And I never imagined
Exactly.
being a financial planner, guys, for one of the major banks in Toronto, having a guiding a
Yes.
team of like almost like, I have 38 people under my team. So, like, it's every day, like, a great approach to learn about it. I'm still working from home, like, it's a great way to, like, do the things itself. And it matters. It will pay off in the long run. Just don't expect short
Exactly.
returns, expect a longer return,
Exactly.
because that's the journey that you want. And that will help
Yes.
you out to the core. So
Yes.
that's the thing.
And
And that's the tip I really want to give to anyone. Like, make your research, find the passion for yourself, find the relevant course to yourself. Just don't go after someone because they have done it. And no
hmm,
one will guide you better over here. Like, rather than yourself, you have to believe in yourself, and that will be the major picture. So I
yes.
hope I answered that.
Yes. Yes. Why not? That's what, guys. Like, end of the day, even